I hope you guys can hear me. Feel free to say so in the chat. I will say I'm not going to be able to monitor the chat much while I'm doing stuff, which probably works out because I won't be running my mouth as much. But I'm going to try, while I'm getting ready here, I'm going to try to enable the Bluetooth chat text-to-speech thing, so at least I can hear it. So we'll see how that goes. We will see how that goes. It can be a little distracting at times, but we'll see. All right, cool. I'm glad y'all can hear me. I'll tell you what I don't like is this Windows changes. I'm for work, I use a Mac most. So now when I go into Windows, I'm like, man, everything is not where I would expect it to be. So Bluetooth is turned off. Turn Bluetooth on. Alrighty, connect. I might need to disconnect with my phone. So let me turn on my phone. Yeah, I bet you I do. I'll just turn my Bluetooth off for now. Okay, that didn't work because somebody was connected. There we go, connected. Okay, what we can't have is a bunch of me coming back through. Make sure this is muted and that's muted. And the chat. Make sure that that's silly thingy
sounds great.
Is on. It sounds great, right on. So hopefully that will be enough. But I will try to check it from time to time. The problem is the way I set things up today with using the propane forge later, I couldn't really bring my workstation closer. It's kind of tight right here. And I'm playing with a new setup that I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks, won't be next week, next couple of weeks, I can finish this. What camera are we on? Okay, let me check. So I'm gonna finish this craziness. You know, I thought, are we on the right camera? We're not. I thought I had adjusted this camera so it wasn't chopping my head off, but there it is, chopping my head off. So let me fix it. Let me fix it. Because everybody wants to see my beautiful face, right? Okay, probably not. I'm not even sure my wife does. But let me raise this like here and then back up just like I'll bump it a hair. Oh, I guess that's as far as I'm bumping it. Right there. Let's see how that looks. I thought my TV died. I must have hit a button. But it is working, so I can at least look over there. So if you see me looking over there, that's probably what I'm doing, is trying to figure out how things look. Too bad I can't put the chat, well, I probably could, but not today. I can't put the chat on that. And I'll tell you what is gonna bug me the most. Let's move this camera. I thought I had this set up right. But let's try this. Another weird thing, I see on my screen on the camera, I see this little weird dot that I hadn't seen before, and now it's back, and I can't figure out how to get rid of it. But I noticed I didn't see it. Well, I'm glad we're getting that out of the way. So if I'm here, I guess. Yeah, so the only downside to this situation with that lattice air compressor the only real downside to this situation is I can't easily switch cameras. I have to kind of walk over there to do it. But if I find I like this setup, then I will work on making it better. I hope that, I really hope you like all of that air compressor. Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to make one more quickie change. I'm going to hit this button. Also, do you guys dig this view? I raised the camera up, so I was doing some testing earlier, and I wasn't a fan. The only thing I did not think to do when I did all of this is change the orientation of the anvil, but I don't think I need to. I think this is going to work out. The only problem is when I'm working on this side, which is quite a bit, I don't know how much you're going to see. But the problem is to get in a good angle, it would almost need to be here coming this way. So this is kind of a compromise, but I think it'll work out. We'll see. I'll watch it later, and we'll take it, take it from there and adjust as I need to. But a buddy of mine, Steve Schubert, bought this contraption. I forget the hell these things are even called. If Roy was around, he would be able to tell you what it was. Like a rail, video rail or something. I don't know, automated rail thing. So your camera mounts to it, and it can move back and forth, and you can set it up to track a specific area that you want. So as it moves, like it's moving now, it changes some perspective a little bit, but it stays, it keeps things in a specific frame once you get it. So it's not super tuned, so it will shift here and there, but I've also noticed it's not the smoothest sailing little dude in town, but I've slowed it down quite a bit. So hopefully it moves a little smoother than I had noticed watching a video, but that is not that big a deal. What I firstly needs to do is cut this bar in half, because this will become a pair of 3/8 inch round punches that I need 15 and a half, which works out. I usually cut mine to right around 7.5. That's what I like for my punches. So it's going to be a little bit, one will be a little shorter than the other, but not by much. So I'm not going to spend too much time trying. One will be 7.5, one will be a smidge shorter. I'm not too worried about that. So I will and then we'll see. Does that look about even? That's damn close. White charcoal pencil. Soapstone survives heat to a degree, but I found that the charcoal pencils tend to survive a little bit better. So I'm going to cut it and get it hot and cut it. And then I'm going to whip out my secret weapon and probably screw everything up. But I'm going to whip it out. Hey, behave yourselves. I'm going to switch to a different hot cut too. This one is not, I made it, so it's not as good as it could be. Whereas I've got one down here made by, this one's an Andrew Larson hot cut. Now I will say the difference between Andrew's and mine is his cutting edges is a bit thicker than mine. So sometimes, and it's not a big deal, but sometimes it does feel like it takes a little more effort to cut with this one, but not a big deal. So I don't always do this. You can take a piece of wood, to set those so they're not moving around when you're trying to get started. That'll probably be the last time I do that tonight. I'm probably going to want a pair of tongs for this. So let me see. Let me see if I've got something that will hold that. In fact, I made a pair of dumb tongs. I'm going to come over here and see. Trail dust. Hey, Kevin. I did not hear the thing, so I'm going to come over here and click on it. Oh, it just says hello, hellos. So hellos. This is actually made to hold 5/8 round, but let's see if I can get on it with these. I made these a couple days ago. Not overly happy with them, but they will work. If I can get this tongue clip on them. Good Lord. Well, okay, might need a bigger tongue clip. So here's another. I typically use square tubing, but you can use chain links. That'll work too. You see? That'll work. So let's get this thing cut. I specifically made these tongs to hold 5/8 round, 5/8 round, because I was forging out 5/8 inch stock for lollipops or tong blanks for the Indiana Blacksmiths Association conference that's coming up next weekend. I've got one over here I almost slipped on. Let me show those. Actually, I'm going to use these later probably. But this is when I say lollipop, this is what I'm referring to. It's essentially what we do is draw out one end to close, like this one's damn close, to close to being done. And then all you got to do is focus on the working end of your tongs and not worry about drawing them out and things like that. But the purpose of saving a lot of time. So we're going to help folks work on tongs in our tools to make tools area that's going to be new this year, run by myself and Paul Kennedy, most likely. Corbin will be Corbin Kadinger will be there. And then if you want to learn more about Corbin, there's actually a podcast put out by Coal Iron Works that Corbin was on, and then his dad, Kyle, was just on. They just posted that today. And so you can learn a lot more about those guys. Kyle is not a blacksmith per se. He just kind of supports his kid, which is really cool. Corbin will be probably helping. I don't know how much, but he will definitely be helping. I need to get my cigar lighter lit, or my cigar lit with my cigar lighter. What camera are we on? Yeah. So you can't, unfortunately, you can't see the, but you can see that. But it works. I actually don't use that as often as I probably should. Let's switch to the big cam. I guess that's what we'll call it. Main cam. We'll switch to that for now. Just for cutting. I got two pieces I need to cut. So this one's gonna go first. We'll get this hot. And what I've been doing lately is marking these first, and then I'll come back and actually cut them off. So with an induction forge, one of the things that will help is get it hot and let it soak a second. Let that heat soak. Meanwhile, I'm going to switch to a different hammer. And I'm going to put this away because I don't need it. Now, it's cooled down a little bit, but there's still a little bit of color there. Now I'll bring it up to an actual temp. I keep an eye on my mark, and once I see it slowly fading out, I'll just go mark it. Right there, I can still see it. All right, mark. Just straighten it back out a little bit. Now we'll cut it off. I want to point out also that these, while they'll be used at the conference, these are my tools. So I've been kind of taking my time with these and getting them where I want them. You know? Because I figured two things, right? It's twofold. I mean, I still try to make my tools look nice, but I want these to look especially nice because they're going to be used by people other than myself. Oh baby, that cuts. Oh baby. You guys know the drill here. No need to cut all the way through. That's sucker rod, 4140. That is maybe an 1/8 of an inch holding between those two pieces. Right? Mild steel, this would have flopped over already. Spring steel holds up really well too. So Sometimes I'll cut a piece like that if I'm not 100% certain that it's mild or sucker rod or spring steel. But in my shop, 90% of the material that's in this size is going to be sucker rod, so I'm pretty confident. It's 3/4 inch tongs, made by Dave Custer. This one's already signed. This one is not, so I'm going to go ahead and sign this one. You can only work on one of these at a time. I've got the gas forge over here, but I don't know if I'm going to need it tonight, but I'm going to grab a pair of that 5/8 material and make a pair of tongs, because I want to make sure of a couple of things before I cut some more. There we go. All right, but first, this, I was going to sign it, but where'd my touch mark go? Oh, it fell down. So I'll switch to the other camera.
John Brunel. I like them FFF tongs lightweight.
Yeah, Dave makes some nice tongs. And they're relatively inexpensive as well. I don't know his business strategy there. So many. I don't know how he can afford to pull that off. But hey, I ain't complaining. Before I sign it, let me do the other thing I wanted to do with these. Then I'll sign them. Well, actually, I already signed the other one. But I wanted to, while I've got it here, I want to show it off. So this is my 60-degree V-sledge, complete with a Hardy stem now that can be keyed in, which I will do now for your viewing pleasure once I find my key. I think this is the one that'll work. Nope. Let us see. Yes, indeed. So that sticks out quite a bit further, but this key is meant to be used on multiple different anvils. So it's a bit longer. What I'd probably end up doing is just making keys just for this anvil. So as you can see, it can move. It's kind of movery. It's movery. So I'm just going to go ahead and lock it down. And I'm hitting light, I'm not going crazy, Corbin. And I can feel the difference. It's pretty much driven in. So it'll still move, but not much. And for what I want to do, I want to pick which V-slot to use, which would probably be this one. Not that one. That one's I could use this one. In fact, this is the one I will start with. I probably will end up back here. But I'm going to start here. So I've got access. This one's not enough. No access. So I'm cheating. I'm cheesing. I do not need to use this. Somebody's going to say prove it, and that's when I go about screwing this up. I'm okay with that. So let me get this hot right on the end. I like the struck ends to have the definable taper on it, showing that it is indeed a struck end as well, putting a hex on it. Just, I don't know, classes the tool up, but it's not required at all. A slight taper is always beneficial. It helps to drive the force of the hammer through the piece a little bit better. But no, it is definitely, depending on the, for 3/4 inch, it's not required at all. So we're going to start here. So I'm going to 180 that. I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm going to, whatever that is, that. So I'm just putting that flat in there. This is like cheating, really, for making hex. And then I'm going to start half on, half off. Creating that taper I want. Minor taper, really. And I don't know. I'll come over here. I don't know how well you can really, I can see it, but I can't see it, kind of a thing, right? Yeah, okay. So let me. And let me look at it. So it ain't there yet. But it's close. And it basically just kind of does, it kind of gives itself to you a little bit, you know, if that makes any sense. I honestly don't use it for this very often. My favorite things to use this for is forge welding. Brian, I think, just put a video out today showing, he was drawing out some stock, I think titanium, using his. So I'm going to come over here. I was a little off. We'll start that again. Oh, now we're bottoming out, so we're close. Uh-oh, losing it on the tongs. The edges on this one clearly need to be dressed. You can see the marks. This one looks a little bit better. That's why I was originally planning to go to that one. So I'm going to come over to it to clean it up. I mean, that's a good looking hex at this point. A little high, but not a big deal. So I'm going to get this hot, bring it to the smaller side, and then hopefully clean it up. But I don't want to take it much further than where it is. All right, so I'm just going to come over here and try to clean things up a little bit. These tongs are not holding so well because my tong clip is way up here. So let me swap tongs, and I'll use the Dave Custer tongs now that I got them out. Drop forged. Drop forged. So there we go. Oh, my other tong clip will work on these. Well, maybe. This one's a little big for this. I guess I'll just have to hold them. Oh, the humanity. Oh, the humanity. So, when I get done with this heat. Hey, by the way, let me know what you guys think of the particular camera angle and view and the, you know, stuff. It's still moving, it's still doing the thing. You guys let me know what you think. So I'm gonna try to clean up some of these lines that I got, some of those chop marks. And I'll probably, yeah, I really need to dress these edges. So that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock this key out because I don't need this V-block anymore. All right, I'm gonna put this hammer in the rack before it falls on my foot. I did that earlier. Was not fun. All right. So not only the hex is nice. I'm gonna switch cameras. The hex is nice, but hey, Brian, the hex is nice, but I wasn't holding it very straight, so I got to fix that wobble at the end. And like I said, I don't use mine for this very much. I need to watch that. I'm pretty sure Brian just posted a video today using his to draw something out, so I really need to watch that video because it's very informative. But I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. You know, if I was holding it straight, I wouldn't have this big old nasty wobble in it that I've got to fix now. So I'm going to look at my facets real quick. They all look pretty even. It's not bad. I like it. Now I just want these lines here where the hex kind of comes to an end. I want those to all kind of match up. So I'm going to take another heat. It's still not quite straight. I'll take another heat to just kind of line that transition up. I don't know. It's not required. I like the way it looks. It's still got a bit of a wobble in it. That looks a lot better. Oh yeah. So now I'm just going to come down here. Trying to make the transition lines all about the same. Ryan years ago gave me a chisel, a round end chisel, and I love that chisel and I hate that chisel. Yeah, because it's got Brian written all over it. And where's that? I just had it out. Oh, fell down. That's how I treat my tools. While I'm bragging about it, I'll come show you guys. And this is probably my favorite curved chisel. And I'll explain why in a minute. I need to put that down. There we go. Oh, it's got a nice, whoop, over here. It's got a nice curve into it, but not too much. But here's the thing that I hate about this, but love it. So it's hex, right? I don't know if it was hex stock. It does not look like it was hex originally. It looks like he forged it hex. That hex continues all the way down the chisel, where it's like the peak runs down the chisel line. I can't do that. I've tried a few times. I'm just not. I'll get there. Anybody can get there. I ain't there yet. So anyways, that's all I'm going to do for the struck into this. It needs to be ground eventually. I could rasp it, file it, but I got an expensive grinder, so I'm going to use that. So the only other thing I really need to do now is I really should find a tong clip for this. It would be a lot easier if I did that. One of these might work. It's not, it hasn't been filed, but it should be okay. No, this is going to be too big. No, this will work. this will work. I'm going to
Love it, Brian.
put this over here, and I'm going to slip this on now because it's a little tight. So I'm going to slip that on now. Oh. Grab this piece, and then I'm going to slide this down. I think it'll be okay. Man, maybe not. All right, I'm going to have to modify one. That's okay. This is just really not, I don't need a lot of hold, but I need some hold so I can put it between my legs. That'll work, that'll work. And for my touch mark, I really don't need it very hot, so that's probably all the more I need. What do I do with my touch mark? Here, wait, I thought I put it over here. Oh, it's right here. Like I said, I don't need it stupid hot, but I do need to come over here to do this. So that V-block would help with this as well, but it could put some marks in it, so I don't really want to do that. But here we go. There we go. I'll flip it over and do another side. All's the more I need to do. Okay. So if you see, if you come to the conference, you'll see that it's, make sure it's still straight, still straight. One of the easier ways I have found to make sure something round is straight, or at least straight-ish. I'm not going to fuss about this too much, simply because I got other things I want to get done tonight. But what I'll do is just take it, put it on my anvil, on round, not hex, and just roll it. And it looks pretty straight to me. A little out of concentricity over here, but it's relatively straight. It's very, now I'm sure if I put it in the lathe and spun it at 1200 RPM, I'd be like, oh my God. But just that, it looks fine to me. So while it is hot-ish, I'm gonna go ahead and warm it up. This is one of the things I love about this bad boy. I just warmed that thing up, and I'm gonna come to this side. I've already heat treated this, by the way. So all I gotta do is turn this way down, and I'm gonna heat it and then just bring it through. That's all I gotta do, so I can put a finish on it, right? So that's all I needed to do. And it's taken the finish pretty well. Hey, Troy. Mr. Lannis. So as you can see, it's too hot up here and just burning off. But down here, it's starting to take it. It's one of the things I can do to help, because I don't want to sit here all day digging with that. I'll just drop it in my oil can and cool it off that way. But you can see it's still burning off that oil really good. If you're going to do this, I highly recommend food safe oils. It's probably still not good to inhale that smoke, but this has got whatever in it. So I try not to inhale this crap at all. It's still a little warm on that side. As you can see, it's putting on a nice dark finish. Now I harden these for a couple of reasons. One, I like to mark and lay things out cold when I can. Now this isn't a typical Brian style punch. I suck at that grind. I'm working on it, but for the IBA, we're just going to go with flat round punches, simply because I suck at that grind, getting that grind right. The way Brian does them is it got a bevel on them, and I just, like I said, I suck at that right now. I'm working on it, but not there. And then being that my time is limited right now, I'm just going to roll with this. Some people say they can't tell a difference. I think those people aren't paying attention. I can definitely tell the difference.
It looks pretty sweet, Troy. I don't blame you.
But as far as a black finish goes, hot oil finish, that's all the more that needs. It will get ground later, but not right now. This one was already, I'd already hit the backside while it was hot, but I'm gonna get this end and forge that down. But I'm not gonna do that right now. You know what? Yes, I am. Let me go get that V-block. I'm not gonna key that block in this time though. I don't necessarily feel the need to for what I'm doing. You know what? Let's try a hex without cheating. Let's try a hex without cheating. Let me go read the comments first. Let me shut up, you. Plus, I need to figure out where I put my cigar. Oh, Mr. Lannis. Oh, yeah, you know, I wanted to watch that planer video before I came out and forgot. You need to go get the jointer as well if you don't already have it, and let me know what you think, because I've been thinking about getting that. I don't necessarily need the planer as much, but the jointer would be nice. And technically, I could do a lot of that on my table saw, but for smaller pieces like hammer handles, I think I would rather use a joiner personally. But yeah, I'm gonna scroll up in this chat real quick, make sure I see what I missed. Yeah, I'll tell you, Brian, it's kind of funny, right? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 swage blocks that I only typically use like a couple of things on them, simply because I start relieving the edges and I get so bored that I give up. I need to do that with that one as well. I started to on that one, kind of the same thing, which is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots. It's pretty pathetic, I know. But yeah, my brain goes numb working on that kind of stuff. This is why I don't make knives, guys. So I don't think I need much more than that as far as the tong clip goes, but that tong clip fits much better on this one.
I got an older heavy cast iron brass.
Hell did I?
It's 6 and 2 HP.
Yeah, man, I don't know. There's certain things that I can just zone in on and just do it. But that kind of stuff, oh, I can't do it, man.
Use it very often.
I used to have a DeWalt planer. I love that thing.
I had a fun time shaping and hanging the handle of that 700.
I usually just grind the handles. I'm getting to a point where I absolutely hate having to do that. Let me go grab one for you guys and I'll show you what I start with typically on a handle. And why I bought a table saw in the first place was to help with this problem. Because like even this has been cut down, and I'll show you what it used to look like. So I can't remember where I got these from. Thrain something. Thrain wood, I don't forget. You look up Thrain and wood, like hickory maybe. But this is what I would typically start with, is this guy, which is, I don't know, 1.5 inch square probably. And then I'll cut it down to something more like this, which is a little over 1 inch, I think. It is 1.25 inches now. This was almost 2 inches, inch and I'd say this is probably 1.7 inches square, and then this is 1.25 inches, which is still too much, but it's just easier for me to cut them down to this. And then what I'll do is I'll take the corners off at the grinder, usually like a 36 grit belt, run them off that, and I'll usually do 2 passes of that. 1, 2, all 4 sides. Do 2 passes, and then once I get that, then I'll start to roll it in to put the hill shape that I'm looking for on the handle, and then I'll start on the tapered side and then grind that in, which I'll probably always really kind of do that. I mean, I could use a bandsaw for that, but it's quicker. It would be much quicker with a grinder. But with a joiner set at the correct angle, one, I could zip that through and then take those handles down to the final dimension that I want them to be real quickly. But then I can zip those corners off real fast with a joiner. You can do that with my table saw too, but it would be easier just to have the joiner just set up for that. What the hell did I do? Oh, there it is. It's like, what the hell did I do with the thing? But there it is. So I'm gonna switch back to the other camera shot. We should get together again at your shop. You talking about Troy's shop or my shop, or somebody else's shop? You let me know. Troy's not far from here, so I have a vehicle. I can travel. I'll be there too. So let me get this hot. I've said that 4 times, I think. So one of the things I really like about Dave Custer's tongs, and I'll show this off real quick. All right, we're good and hot. So one of the things I like about Dave Custer's tongs is this. So I know where I'm at. Right, so I'm just going to use the flat right now. Now I know where I'm at. I'm like 180 of that. Now I want to turn that. Hey man, that didn't do half the work for me. Right? And then I do not like the orientation of my anvil, but it works for this, but yeah, one of the things I like about these is it kind of gives you got an indicator. A big one. Now if I was smart, what I would have done I would have been looking at that V-block so I know exactly what angle I wanted instead of having to hunt for it, which I typically end up having to do. But that's not terrible. It ain't great. Getting there. So now I'm going to go grab the V-block because it just makes my life easier. But yeah. And I need to I need to relieve these edges too on this side, but you shut up for a minute. Ah, you can talk. I'm talking to this thing. Not y'all. I ate a big ginormous steak. It was huge. And 2 roasted corn on the cobs. And I'm feeling it. Boy, am I ever feeling it. So I've got like an oblong hex thing going on here. So I'm going to use this to kind of correct that. And boy, did it ever. I ain't there yet, but it's close. For me, a hex, when you get the hex kind of too much one way or the other, it seems like that's a battle that's hard to win. But this makes it easy. I should key this in. I'm going to because it's going to annoy me. I can't stand when I've got to chase a tool around. Oh, it just drives me nuts. That looks okay. That could use some work. That looks like it needs to come down a hair. That looks okay. Much better. So I'm going to leave it at that, and then I'll just clean it up. I'm not even going to remove the V-block to do that. Because I've got enough flat up here to work with. Yeah. And it needs to be straight. Still kicking off to this way a little bit. All right, that looks a lot better. So while it's got some heat in it, well, while it's still hot, technically, I'm going to go ahead and, oh no, I already signed this one. What am I thinking? But I'll heat this side up. And that's all the more for putting a finish on. In fact, I've got to let it cool down. But I think I can catch the other end. See this thing? Yeah. Still a little hot. It's good here. So I'll go ahead and cool it off in my little oil can here. Still plenty warm, so I want to. So the end seems good. Actually, it looks like it could use a little heat. That's also more I'm going to do with that. Yeah, that's better. I want a little smoke, maybe not that much, but it's taken. Still a little warm, but it's taking the finish, but it's chewing up the rag in the process. You want some smoke, not a lot. And if you've never done this, it's a lot like seasoning cast iron. It's essentially the same thing. But that, as far as the finish goes on the hand tool, it's all the more it really needs for what it's going to go through next weekend.
Rock. Duck rabbit forging. Sub-period.
But we'll see. We'll see how it looks. It's still taking.
Forging. Auto-correct.
So I'll heat her up, heat up a piece and punch with this and the other one. Make sure that they perform right. I'm going to set this down to cool. And I don't need the V-block anymore. Ooh, hey man, my oil rag got a little hot. So I'm going to go put this back. Oh, it's keyed in. Doop, doop. Here we go. I hear a lot of jibber jabber going on over here, so I'm going to see what's going on. Duck Rabbit Forging, welcome back. Bar and Forge, I don't usually go anywhere unless there is work to do. Well, Troy, you're welcome to come out anytime. I hope she's on the mend already, but I know that's been some trial and tribulations there. So I'm hoping this was the last time that she needs to go through that. Tell her she's got to lay off that headbanging. No more death metal videos for her. Yeah, Duck Rabbit was definitely here 5 hours ago when I was in testing mode. There's a test option, but I would have had to set it up. Otherwise, I just couldn't be bothered.
Duck rabbit forging. My phone auto-corrected bar to vary. Bar run forge. LOL tell her. Rock. Thanks.
Having fire management issues with my coal forge, fix it up or make a new table. Well, my advice to that is if there's already things about your table you don't like or wish were done differently or whatever, take the time to do it. The weather's decent. Seems like a good opportunity to do that. But I get it. Also, you could be forging, right? I'm going to cut this other bar in half real quick. It's way longer than I need, but I need 2 1/4-inch round punches. Let's see. That's more than enough material for what I need. But doing it this way, I don't need tongs to finish this off. "60 seconds, this 3/4-inch bar is at a forge welding heat. Those are going to fall off. I should have been ready for that.
Jeff Keenan.
Bad hit. I'm starting to, this is, I just grabbed it, I didn't actually check it. I'm starting to think this is 7/8. I'll check it here in a second. Okay, cut, I suppose. Weren't great. A couple of those hits were really bad. Really bad. Okay. I want to cool this end off. I don't know that it needs it, but
Demographic fortune. Hang on, we can have some fun with this. Demographic forging. That TDS bot will say anything I type in chat.
yes, it will. That's so I can hear it because I can't see the chat window today. So it's just letting me know that things are going on. I don't know if I turn this microphone down, if that will help.
Forging. Oh, sick.
Let me try though. I'll turn it down a bit and see if that helps any. I don't know if my lapel mic is picking it up too.
Demographic forging. Hi, this is the TDS bot speaking. Your craft lacks control. Demographic forging.
I do not refute that in the least. What camera? Yeah. All right. I thought I was, I was prepared. I hung my Gatorades up over them. So, can you guys see me over here? Yeah. So this is my, my breakfast nook. So sometimes I will come out here and have coffee at this table or lunch, whatever. This is where I contemplate my life choices that I have made, because sometimes I wonder. But it's used for holding things and so on and so forth. But I don't keep a lot of tooling on here. It's just tooling that I'm typically in the process of using and then forget to put away. So I need to check. I think that's 7/8. It felt a little meaner. I'll use it for something, but not for a hand tool, not for a 1/4 inch hand tool. But I'll just check it. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Looking at these two, yeah.
Demographic forging. Usually TBS is only on donations because
Yeah.
people tend to start feeding it slurs and stuff LOL.
So that's 7/8. I thought it was 3/4. I should have checked. So I'm not going to use this to make a 1/4 inch round punch. It's just, that's way overkill. 3/4 inch is technically overkill, but I like my tools in that 3/4 inch range. I don't know, this is what I'm used to, I suppose. So let me find another piece of 3/4 inch over here, and hopefully I don't have to go grab a ginormous piece. Oh, here we go, I think. Yeah, I have no idea what I was up to with that,
Pass the hands. Bobby.
but we'll double check it. Yes, we're good to go.
Demographic forging. 3/4 feels better in the hand.
Yeah, I agree. I prefer 3/4 inch. No, sometimes 5/8 works out. I don't like,
That's what she said.
I don't like, Bill. I don't like 1/2 inch tools unless, it's just something for really light work. But I think 1/2 inch is just a little too anemic, and they tend to bend a little much easier. So like chasing tools or something, I think that makes sense because you keep them relatively short. But yeah, I just like the 5/8 myself.
Messages to David Press Green chat.
5/8. I like the 3/4 inch, but 5/8 for smaller, if I'm making them smaller, for a 1/4 inch round punch, 5/8 would probably be fine. But I prefer just my tools be 3/4 inch. As I said. So I need 2. So I'm going to give myself plenty of material here. I know I don't need this much, but it gives me something to hold on to.
Robert Davis. Yes, sir. $3 million man. Demographic forging. Can I just get on these streams? Just to mail out and BS with the guys.
So I don't know 100% that this is sucker rod, but because it is 3/4 inch and the length that it is, leads me to believe that it probably is, because I don't typically use 3/4 inch round mild for much, and the pieces I have are usually relatively small.
PC 6592
I have a lot of 3/4 inch sucker rod though. Yeah, same thing. I'm just going to cool this end off just to keep it cool, and then I'll get this started on the other one. The 1/4 inch or 5/16 is probably better to shoot for. All right, let me check on the chat. Let me check on the chat. Make sure Bill's behaving. I heard that name come up a couple times. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so in case anybody was wondering, that was the reason I picked Wednesday nights. It was twofold, right? Now, I didn't want to interfere with Troy's stream that's been running way longer than mine, or on Friday nights because Roy's stream, again, running way longer than mine. Plus, Fridays I usually reserve for weekends, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays is when like buddies will come over and we'll do a lot of actual like heavy forging. And we should stream that at some point, but there won't be a lot of talking in that, thank God, right? But so I picked Wednesday. Thursday nights I usually go out to Kurt Fehrenbach's shop, and if I don't go to Kurt's, then I'm afforded the luxury of being able to watch Troy's stream or Bar Run Forge, their stream, and then the same with Roy on Friday nights. I can usually catch, and he does his early enough that I can usually catch it as well, which is great. But I've missed the last few. Been busy with the prep work for the IBA conference. So, all right, I think this camera is good enough for now. Can I do? Oh. Now, the one thing I don't know is the little doodad that's going back and forth on the other camera. Have you guys noticed that? What do you guys think? By the way, yeah. What do you guys think? What do you? Is it too slow? Should I speed it up a little bit?
Next Friday is a no-go.
Yeah, we'll be at the conference on Friday.
I'm going super full-time teaching blacksmithing after I graduate in June.
But I don't know how long this battery is going to last. So I can move the camera by hand and put it in a fixed position, thankfully. But yeah, it's running off of a battery right now, which I'm not a huge fan of. 5/16 is kind of what I'm shooting for on this one. I don't want to start off with this hammer though, because I want to move this relatively quickly. So I'm going to go to a much bigger hammer. Thank God I'm using a Holland anvil with lots of rebound. It's going to save me all of this work. It'll do at least half of it for me, according to the internet. Okay, we don't need that. I made the only 5/16 round punch I've ever made was when I was doing the IBA level 1 cert tools. And then after I did it, it was like, oh no, it's supposed to be 1/4 inch. But I was like, it said 1/4 inch or 5/16. Just pick one, Jesus. Trying to keep it as clean as I can at this point. Just to save myself from having to do a bunch of cleanup work, which I'll probably end up having to do anyways. Fairly round. I'm happy with that. Just cleaning it up. Yeah, I should have cut this bar a little longer, but I was hoping to not have a lot of waste. And I say that because I can feel it's getting warm already. Just cleaning it up. There's a hollow right there, I think. Right in there. See it? I don't like that. I don't like one glaring hollow. I don't mind, like, you know, when you go around it, you see high, you know, the peaks or whatever, the facets. I mean, I don't like when there's like one obvious. So I clearly had at least one bad hit in there, probably 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 6 or 8. But when there's like one obvious hollow in there, I'm going to try to forge that out because it bugs me. I'd say that's mostly gone. That could use a little more tuning right there. It's close. It's close. All right, I need to come over here. Oh man, this thing is getting warm. Whoa, baby. Whoa, baby. Clear that out. Where are we at? 027. So that's just, once it's ground down, it will be, yeah, it should be good. Should be good. But let me check something real quick. Just make sure these aren't doing something crazy on me. So yeah, once it's ground, you know what? I'm going to take it a little smaller. But I'm going to cool it off first, because it's getting toasty. What? Where'd I put those tongs? What? What? Check on this chat while I'm at it.
John Brunel. Roy has been around a lot longer. Christ century.
Barry. Who is Barry? Barry. Oh damn, Barry, you've been streaming for a hot minute. Hey Zach.
J.I.J. Forge and Fishing. What we making? John Brunel. Barry is bar run.
Oh.
Rabbit forging. You missed the lore rock.
Oh, okay. I would say. Well, we're talking about streaming. Okay, yeah. But yeah, Roy has been doing it for a long time.
We just try and do that every week. John Brunel. His autocorrect makes it very
I can remember the days on Roy's streams when there were like 8 or 10 of us. It's the only time I could win anything. All right, so I want to take this end down a little bit more, just to give myself some grinding error room. But it's close. It's really close. I think a long time ago, John Switzer did a stream or two, but he kind of gave up on it. So, I know that most of you guys know this, but I'm going to say it anyways for the guys in the back. One of the things when you're making a punch, you don't want too sharp of a transition here, taper there. You don't want, you don't want that to just come out of the blue like bam. You want to have some meat behind it. You want to back that up. Now you also want to make sure that whatever the punch is supposed to be used for, that you've given yourself enough on the end to do that thing, right? So if I were to try to punch a piece of 1 inch with this, it's not going to work. I mean, it'll punch it, but what's going to happen is it's going to open that hole up to, whatever, almost 3/8, almost ½ inch. If I were to go straight with this, so you gotta, I would have to elongate that a little bit, and allow that some room to do what it needs to do without opening the hole too much beyond what I might want it to. Now in some cases you might want it to do that. Like you might want to start with 3/8 and then open that up to, ½ inch, which is fine. You could do that. I suppose. I would rather drift it myself. So I think this is pretty close, but it sure ain't round no more. Let me try to coax this guy back into round. I'm gonna come out here. That is better. That is mucho better. Now I'm just cleaning this little tidbit up, and then see it wobble. So I'm just going to try to clean that up, straighten it up. So I'm pretty excited next week, next Thursday. I believe I'm going to have a special guest in the shop, and we might do a little streaming. We'll see. We'll see what that person wants to do. I'm not going to give it away. But let me just say, I've known this person for a little bit now. 4 years or so, I guess. We've had some great adventures in Johnstown at the IBA Festival and the IBA Conference. So, looking forward to it. Man, I still got a wobble in it. Oh, there it is. I see it. Looking forward to having that person in my shop. They're coming a long ways, and we've known each other, like I said, for a minute. And we've always had a good time hanging out at various events that we're at. Recently married, so looking forward to hearing about all of that. Oh, wait, what? Somebody just call it? Yeah, Bill. Yeah, so Jennifer's going to swing by here on Thursday. And then we'll probably head over to Kurt's at some point. It was the recently married, wasn't it? I had wondered about that. What's going on here? And slowly but surely, it is getting straighter. But you don't want your punch wobbling around like that. You want it in line, otherwise you're going to get holes that are all off every time you train. You can't understand. I discovered this the hard way, by the way. I was struggling one day, and I was like, and finally I took that punch and rolled it, and I was like, what the? That's a lot better. Every time it bounces, by the way, I can tell it's not sitting flat on the anvil like it should be. I mean, yeah, it's cold too, but when it chatters like that, that's a good indicator that either something's changed or it's not. Yeah, that's much better. Where are we at? What is 5/16? 3, 2, 5? 375 is 3/8. I always forget that. I have to always go look that up. 325? Yeah. I want that's the other thing. For these types of punches, I want these undersized because we're going to drift them to the appropriate size after all said and done. So I'm not going to cut this off. I'll use it so I can hold it and work the other side. And it's got okay chamfer on the end of it. So it should be fine, but I'm going to let this cool off. Meanwhile, I want to come over here and check on the chat and grab a little bit of my get trade, y'all. I don't know if they make another door. I've been recommended by some of my research and found anything bad about them. Okay, hey, I got to back up and see what's going on. Which anvil is that? The anvil that I'm currently using is a 100-pound Holland anvil. It is their quote-unquote double horn. It's technically, I believe, what is considered a Portsmouth style anvil, I believe is the correct term for that style of anvil. It's not really a German pattern, but it was modeled after a German pattern, clearly. But it is a 100-pound Holland that Mark Asbury used at Quad State a couple of years ago. Have I mentioned that?
Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice.
I doubt that this Holland is cheaper than a Kanka. I have one of those too.
Is it just 100?
It's 110.
Name drop in 3-1,
So
LOL.
So forging and fishing, like I said, I've got the Kanka 110. I like it. It's fine. The only reason I'm not like using it is because I've got that Holland right there. But it's every bit of a good anvil. It was my first. The only thing I personally don't like about it is the face is pretty wide on them. That is the biggest thing. I'm not a huge fan of the horn. But it's a horn. It'll horn things. But yeah, it's a fine 3125 on 5/16. Yeah, I couldn't remember somewhere in there.
Rabbit and Doyle's aren't very hard on the face. Just letting you know since you said you need a hard face.
But yeah, the Holland I really like this anvil. They make a 220 or 240 double horn that I really like. It's about the same size face, but it might be a little smaller. I just can't justify that much money on an anvil. And I've got my mild steel anvil I use all the time. The only reason I'm not using it is because this was here in front of the induction forge. Otherwise, I'd be over there. But I didn't want to light a fire tonight So anything I can't do in the induction forge, I'll switch to the gas forge, because I was thinking about doing another run of tong blanks. We talked about this earlier. For those that don't know, we make what we call lollipops or tong blanks. Like, these are the ones I'm going to work on later. But so a lollipop is essentially just, we leave the parent material, I leave about 3 inches on the ends and then draw the reins out close to being done. And it just saves a lot of time. And for beginners, you don't want to sit there and watch them pound out reins all day. It's brutal. Brutal. So I'm going to come back over here for a second. Troy's taking off. Wait. A mild steel anvil would be a problem with all the planishing I do. You can planish hot, right? But I get it. But yeah, I mean, you can planish hot. Also, the other thing you could do is make an anvil block and harden that. But yeah, I get it. I totally get it. But yeah, I had no real complaints with my Kanka. The reason I really stopped using it was I bought a 250-pound Reiflinghaus, and that became my main anvil for a long time. Actually, now that I'm looking at the Kanka, the horn doesn't bother me at all. Yeah, no, I liked that anvil. In fact, I was using that one quite a bit before I finished my Keaton anvil. I almost never used the Reiflinghaus. I mean, I can't remember the last time I forged on it, to be honest. It was used at my hammer end by the demonstrator, but not me.
Rapid forging. You can planish pretty close hot, but in mold it's much easier to finish the planishing cold.
I believe, and I don't know the gentleman's name, Ed Brazil was out at a hammer in a few weeks ago,
Plus, cold forging is good for the steel when done correctly.
and there was a guy there that was showing cold forge work on some knives, and I guess that was pretty cool. I'd like to see more of that myself. I'm not even into knives, but the concept is pretty intriguing. But yeah, I have nothing bad to say about that Kanka. I mean, it's every bit a functional anvil. I believe they're made in Turkey. I forget. So it's every bit a functional anvil. And it's a good size, you know. I mean, if you put it on a heavy stand, you're not going to experience any issues with that anvil at all. The stand mine is on is probably 150 pounds.
That's why I think I want one.
But yeah, I'll be honest though. You can't go wrong with a Holland anvil. But yes, I get it. They're a bit more expensive. You want to buy, you know, people tell people to buy American all the time. I don't know where you guys are from, but you know, I hear people rattling that drum, buy American, but I never see these jokers doing it. There you go. These dudes are up in Holland, Michigan. Greg Hagen is a great dude. His son Hobie is a great dude. They're great dudes. So they supported my personal first hammer in. They sent a lot of swag, sent a couple of switch blocks, some other stuff. they've always supported the IBA. In fact, they're supporting it this year. We'll have some stuff from them this year. So they've been great dudes, man. Been great dudes, and it's again, it's American made. So you can't go wrong with a Holland. I'm not trying to pimp you on one or the other, but again, the Kanka, in my opinion, you cannot go wrong with it. Mine is pretty hard. I don't know. I've never tested it or whatever, quote unquote. It's hard enough for me to do what I do.
I have the 200 pounds Holland anvil with shelf. JIJ Forge and Fishing. I want to get a Holland at some point when I can justify getting one.
I would say, I think, how much is the Kanka 110?
200 subscribers can get you a sponsorship job.
Does anybody know? I'll pull it up real quick
JIJ Forge and Fishing.
while I'm standing here.
I've also heard you can
Centaur Forge still sell those? That's where I bought mine, was Centaur Forge. See, Atlas knife and tool anvils are nice too. Though I think that they're a bit more specialized. So the 110. Okay.
185.
Okay, because I don't think the Holland 100 pounder
Blacksmith's Depot.
is that much more expensive than a Kanka in a similar weight class. I want to say mine was $740. Now their prices may have gone up. I don't know. Where in the hell? That cannot be.
No. I only bought the Doyle to keep
Catalog.
those people with less hammer control than me.
Yeah, no.
Possible.
Again, yeah, that Doyle for what it is, I don't see how you got wrong with those things and then the price,
Rabbit forging.
other than you're propping up China.
Intended blacksmith supply.
I'm kidding. Oh man, there's that 240 again. Oh, love that thing. $775, yeah, on the Holland. That is not that much more.
Forge and Fishing. I was going to
$165 more.
outside of Asheville, and they have it for $585, and I can go and pick it up.
Unless you're really into that
In 2023, I got the 200
tiny,
pounds
tinny little, the heel on that thing is dumb.
for $1,500.
The single horn, I would not buy the single horn, by the way. That thing just, that giant pritchel hole in the back looks just dumb. Why didn't they just put the Hardy on the heel as well? That's just dumb. That's dumb. I think it's dumb. Get the double horn if you're going to get the Kanka. But $165 more, you can get the Holland. In my opinion, is a better anvil. Because I have one. But yeah, I think when I bought mine, it was $740. I mean,
JIJ Forge and Fishing. Yeah, that thing's dumb. Duck Rabbit Forging. One day I'm going to get the big church window sawyer's anvil that Holland has.
oh yeah. I know which one you're talking about. I mean, they look cool, but the face is way too wide for anything I want to do. They're 240 pound double horn. Oh, it's nice. The only thing I don't like about it is it's got a 4-inch wide face, and I'm not big on that. That's twice as big as my mild anvil. I'd love to find, I would love if they made this in a 2.5 inch, or just 3. This is a little bit more than 3. I forget what that is. 3 3/4. Somewhere in there, I forget. It's a slightly wider face than I prefer. Well, that's more like 3 7/8, to be honest. A little short of that, but I just like a more narrow face anvil. That's just my preference. But yeah, again, if I had one of those, what I would likely do is make a keyed in anvil block for it, so I would have a smaller face for that kind of work. And I might do that with my ruffling house eventually and drag it back out. I hate moving that thing though. On its stand, it probably weighs closer to, what, it's 250? That stand, probably close to 400 pounds on the stand. So moving that damn thing, it just sucks. Let me just say that. It just sucks.
JIJ Forge and Fishing. I'm working on a 42 pounds cast iron bevel anvil shaped object. JIJ Forge and Fishing. And I'm broke. JIJ Forge and Fishing. So the 585 from Blacksmith's Depot is amazing. Graphic forging. Just stick 3 of them together.
But yeah, man, again, even with the Kanka, I'm just saying, let's just say $200 more. For $200 more, you're getting American made, supporting an American made American company. You may or may not care about that. I don't know. Just don't ever let me see you running around telling people to buy American, and then I'm gonna call your ass out. Like, run out of time. You bought that Turkish anvil? No, I'm kidding. I bought that Turkish anvil. So I've got one of those. I've got a German anvil over there. It was made in Germany, the Ruffling House. I've got my Holland, and I've got that Kanka. I've got a mild steel anvil. So it's whatever, man. Whatever gets you working, that's the tool. But I also hear guys talk about the price of anvils, and the way I look at it, buy once, cry once, right? For the most part. It's a tool that will outlive you easily. Even abusing it, it's going to outlive you easily. So to me, spending a good pretty penny on a tool that will survive you easily, I'm okay with that. Now, other things, I don't know, man. Then it kind of, I get it. I mean, I'm a card-carrying member of Harbor Freight. My favorite thing about Harbor Freight is, like, the one made in America thing they got is a bucket. $200 is like what? 20 handies, back behind the theater downtown somewhere. You got this, bro. I'm kidding. Okay, so let me see where we're at with the heat on that, so I can flip it around and get to the other side. I'm just dipping it. Okay, cool enough to dip. Cool off in the water. All right, good enough. So, I'm gonna put these down. I don't know why I'm carrying them around. Are you a cook? Or do you make chef's knives? I thought I was buying a decent knife. I like it. I like it enough. But I talked to a buddy of mine, and he laughed at me. And it was like a $250 knife. And it's a decent knife for what I do. I'm no chef, but he was like, I could have made you one for $500. Like, yeah, I'm sure you could have, bro. So I'm soaking Choking. Isn't that a Mormon thing? I don't need to use a power hammer. I am a power hammer. Oh, cannot hit that side. Save my life. There we go. Got a bit of a rhombus. Got to fix that. There we go. That'll do it. Oh, I forgot to switch cameras. Five and a half.
JIJ Forge and Fishing. I'm splitting the deck rates. 4.25.
I think it was five and a half. I weighed it once. Let's see. I have a doodad on my phone. So that was round bar. That was that. That was 2.25, 4.5, 1. I think.
JIJ Forge and Fishing. John was closest.
It was. It wasn't 2.25 inch. It wasn't a 2.25 inch billet. I don't think. It's going to be kind of hard to tell because this has been upset. Well, where is this at? 2.35. Might have been 2.25 inch. Let's see if I can. Right there. Yeah, I think it might have been 2.25. So if it's 2.25, then it's right at 5 pounds. I feel like it was bigger than that, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't forge a lot with this hammer, but when I gotta break something down quickly or want to break something down quickly, that's what I'll go to. But I use that for driving drifts when we're doing hammers and other like top tools and things like that. I'd like to get an 8-pounder. I picked one up, but I didn't like the faces and didn't want to grind them. And sometimes it's nice to have just like a little 8-pound sledge laying around. So I'm going to look for another one that I can convert or just make something. For driving drifts, bigger hammer. Buddy of mine, he uses I think it's an 8-pound unhardened piece of 4140 is his drift driving hammer, and it's kind of funny because it's got this like divot in it because he tends to hit in that same spot all the time. But yeah, a 7.5, 8-pounder would be nice for driving drifts, big, hammer drifts. Nothing's worse, especially when you're working with a beginner and they're doing this, trying to drive a drift. Like, hey, dude, we ain't got all day. What I love about my induction forge is every heat, it's still a heat, but they feel like quarter heats, Because it lets you get right back into the action like right away. I love that. I don't like the beeping, but I also don't want to disable it because the alarm is actually quite useful. I wish they were separate. Yeah, that chamfer sucked. I had a small chamfer on the end. So now it's got some fish lipping, which is fine. I'm going to grind it anyways. I just don't like to see it. This one, it's not too shabby. Is Zach still on the live stream? If he is, what are his plans next week in regards to the conference? Inquiring minds want to know. You're more than welcome to come out Thursday if you wanna. If you're not there, I'll ping you later. I just got to kind of straighten it up again. I'm going to come over here, look at the chat right quick, I feel tired watching a 5-pounder. Well, I let the hammer do the work. You can pick up 5 pounds, right? I'm not swinging it. I'm just picking it up over my head and dropping it, essentially. Now, if I need to give it some juice, I can, but yeah, I'm not swinging that thing like a farrier. That's for damn sure. I ain't trying to wear myself out or hurt myself. I don't think I swing. My hammer swing, I don't think is like a typical blacksmith. I've had somebody tell me I'm not swinging my hammer right. I was like, well, you get your piece hot and I'll get my piece hot and we'll see what happens. You know, it works for me. Why people even like harp on that is weird to me. Whatever works and working for you, do that thing. You know, let people be. Especially if what you're doing isn't better within the person that you're trying to help. It just seems kind of odd. I get some people are just trying to be helpful, but again, if the person that you're trying to help is doing a good job, then I don't know. My opinion to that is let them do their thing. Oh, all right, much better. And it's even round. It's even round. Is there anything else I want to clean up while I'm looking at it? Looks all right. Okay. It looks all right. 5/16 is a bit big. 3/16 is good. Quarter is ideal. Hey Jeff, I'm doing good, bro. I will get 3/16. Are you guys gonna make some Damascus? The Damascus? I mean, I see dudes swinging big hammers on things that don't, it's whatever. Like, I mean, if that gets you down the road, it'll get you down the road, I guess. You swing it. If you can swing it, do it, bro. Although it's a weird flex for some guys. I'm not saying you're this way, but I've noticed it. It's a weird flex for some guys. It's like, oh, I swing a 6-pounder every day, making my split crosses. Like, okay. It's like, that's great, bro, but I mean, if you just learn some technique, you wouldn't need all that hammer. So we're at 14 and some change. 7.5 would be fine. But you know, again, I don't disparage anybody that wants to swing a big hammer like that. I just, I think it's when you see these guys on the internet going on about it, and it's just like, okay, if that makes you feel like a man, bruh, you do that. Whatever. My little kid arms can't swing that kind of stuff. But I bet you I'll still whoop your ass when it comes to, well, I don't know, most things, but I'll still whoop your ass. That's the thing about me people don't realize is I'm a really laid back dude. But the moment you put your fucking hands on me, it's a pretty different story. There's a switch in me, and when that switch goes off, all I can say is get the fuck out of the way. It's been a problem all my life. But yeah, I mean, technique and heat is your friend. Technique and heat are your friend. Yeah, let me check this before I cut it, just to make sure that it's where I want it, and it looks right, but I just want to make sure that, because I'm going to be, hey, zero out, bitch, what are you doing? 3125. Yeah, that's plenty. That'll work. That'll work. So I'm going to cut this, mark it, and then I'll cut it. Get me riled up. Nah, I'm just animated. I'm just, as I told HR one time, I'm just passionate. No, I'm actually. Have you seen me get worked up, Zach? I don't know, man. I don't know. Zach, so what you guys should know about Zach is like, he's like one of the nicest dudes, but he's got one hell of a stare down game, and he ain't afraid to say shit to anybody. That's what I love about that dude. He will walk up and be like, hey man, you're being a dickhead. It's time for you to stop. It's awesome. Well, I can't bring myself to do that because the way it comes off, yeah, me and that person will be fighting. So I'm just gonna, wait a minute, hey, that ain't 7.5, damn it. So I'm gonna, what's going on here? So, somewhere in between those two magic lines. Good enough. I don't remember ever being too worked up. If anybody's actually seen me really mad, it's probably Brian. Brian, I don't know, one time Brian and I got into an argument going somewhere. He missed a turn and then he said something and I basically yelled at him and he yelled at me. We yelled at each other. Then we went and had some Chinese food. It was pretty hilarious. I don't know, well, we were in Dayton. We were looking for First Street. It was like the second time I'd ever been there. All right, well then we'll see. We'll definitely see you Thursday then. Yeah, I typically don't. I try not to lose my cool anymore because it's not pretty. But like I said, man, when somebody touches me in an aggressive manner, is no bueno. It's like I'm old and fat, but I'm a lot faster than people realize. But hopefully, for the rest of my life, those will be things I will never have to deal with again. When I was younger, man, me and my cousins used to fight. Cousin. We used to fight all the time. And it wasn't like, for fun. Just like we just occasionally decided it was time to beat the shit out of each other. And I think I felt like I took more than I gave, but I got a couple in there. But yeah, we used to scrap all the time. I remember one time we got into a fight because my name got in the newspaper, the little town that we lived in, the shitty town. We were both on the football team. I made the paper and he didn't, and he got mad about that. And we got into a fight over that. I remember that being... The first 3 times he hit me, I was more baffled. It wasn't that he hit me. I was more baffled about why he was hitting me. I was like, what? You're mad about what? What? What the hell's going on? I was hilarious. And then, somebody made the mistake of deciding they were going to help him out, beat my ass, jumped in. He wasn't having none of that. He turned around and lit into that dude. He was probably just as confused as I was. We used to get into fights over some of the dumbest things. And when I was in high school, I had a buddy that he loved to pick fights at the arcade. He would pick fights with GIs. These are grown-ass men. We're in high school. This dude's picking fights with damn military dudes. Man, well, let me tell you, when you're 17 and getting your ass beat by an army dude, kind of sucks. He seemed to enjoy it. I did not. Over here running my mouth. I should have got that down in one, well, in that heat, not the marking, I'm not counting that, but that should have been cut. One of my favorite things to tell people is they're called hot cuts for a reason. All right. Not a bad cut if I don't say so myself. So same thing with these as I did with the other ones. I'll hex it up a little bit and then move on. See if I can not screw it up this time. And then I don't know what time it is. But I would like to test these, but if I don't get it to it tonight, it's not bad. I don't know. You guys can't really see it, but that's not a bad start to a hex. But yeah, the 60-degree V-swage makes hexes redonkulously easy. So it really is like cheating. Is that 6? Looks like it. That's all I'm going to do with that. As long as it's straight. Looks like it's straight. We'll roll it. Looks good to me. So while it's hot, I'm going to heat the struck end up and let it cool off naturally. But I'm not going to do this until I get a chance to grind it, and then I'll harden it. But I'll brush them. I didn't brush the other ones, but this one was a little, rougher. So I'll give it a brush. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and heat it up to a scaling heat. A light scaling heat. So when you go through the coil on a diagonal, you get a little bit more material in there. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll tell you, if you do this at this heat with a wire wheel, whoo, it looks good. I just don't like using a wire wheel. I'll get this end hot again. That's all I need to do there. So, I'm not saying this is the greatest punch ever made. Brian is probably still on. He's probably already did that. But I want to make it to, you know, a good looking tool, because this is going to be a tool used by, quote unquote, the public at the IBA conference next weekend. So I want it to look good. It should be a representation of what you can do, what you can achieve. And I'm like, you know, I'm only 6 years into this, 5 really, but 6. So, you know, it's not like a hard thing to do once you get proper instruction. And then just really, for me, what I have found is really repetition goes a long ways to improvement. I'm going to come, I don't want to be over there. I'm going to come over here so you can stare at my butt for a second. I don't have much of a butt, so I do apologize. You don't have a whole lot to look at. It all goes straight to my gut, apparently. So we'll tag that, and we'll flip it over, and then we'll tag that. And then make sure that it's still straight. Looks good. Still plenty hot. Probably too hot for a finish. But the other end might be okay now. So I'll go ahead and grab my rag. That didn't look too bad. It's going to get ground anyways, but...
My corneas are hurting.
Your corneas are hurting? What? What the hell are you doing over there? Why are your corneas burning? You been forging all day? Staring at your fire pot? Awesome, Brian. You forge welding videos convinced me to get some Iron Mountain. Hey, yeah, Duck Rabbit. That stuff is the bee's knees. It's cheating. I don't feel like I need it anymore. But there are certain operations where I think it's very beneficial. Brian goes into that But yeah, man, love that stuff. Use it sparingly. Don't go all windburn steel on that shit. If you don't know who that is, look them up. They love them some borax, let me tell you. Nicest dudes, but man, I think they use a damn box of borax for every billet they make.
I don't have much of a butt. It all goes to my gut, apparently, Rob. 20.
Yeah, yeah. True story. True story on the gut thing. You know what? I mean, somebody, I don't remember who it was. Somebody said I had little kid arms or something, which, I mean, whatever, I guess maybe. But I would be really excited if some of this fat went into my arms or in my legs or in my ass. That'd be great. It all tends to accumulate in my face. So I'll go from like Asian to Mexican in the summertime when I start putting on a real tan. I'll turn into a Mexican, and then as I get fat, I'll turn into a Samoan. I'm actually none of those things. I'm white person and Korean and Japanese. Oh, yeah, that's looking good. It still needs to be heat treated, so I'm not going to worry about too much of it. But if I can catch this end, you know.
So John was not saying you had kid arms.
No, I don't have big arms.
JIJ Forge ambition. He was saying I had kid arms. Rapid forging.
Let's see. When was the last time I lifted weights? I think 10th grade
JIJ Forge ambition.
was the last time I did any
Just pro John.
weightlifting. Was in 10th grade. So that would have been 1990? No, it would have been 91. 1991 on the football team. And it was the last time I lifted weights in any serious capacity. And then, like even when I did Taekwondo as a kid, much younger than high school, even in Taekwondo, we didn't lift weights. It was more about conditioning, I guess, and stretches.
Rapid forging. 10th grade was 2 years ago for me, LOL.
Yeah, I'm an old man now. Apparently, if you watch the Coal Iron podcast, Kyle Kadinger kept saying I was old. He's old, guys. Like, hey, wait a minute. Damn it. I'm 4 years older than he is. So, but yeah, I don't know. I've never been much on lifting weights. I was always a skinny kid, which is weird that I got this going on now. I was always a skinny kid. I was always active and moving and doing stuff. But where in the hell oh, there it is. Yeah, I'm not even sure if there's much hope for my physique these days. Oh yeah, we got to do the hex on this side. Let's see if we can luck out twice.
I was in 19th grade in the 80s.
So what you're saying, John, you're an old fart too. In the 19th grade. Our grades didn't, no wonder I'm so dumb. Our grades didn't go that high. Also, when I start my hex, I usually don't bring it up too hot because I find it easier to see. So. And it's not, this thing is not doing half the work for me, guys. I'm going to have to call Holland Anvil. File a complaint. I was told all this rebound. Look at it. I was told with all this rebound, it was going to do half the work for me. But it's not. Filing a complaint. I'm going to switch the camera real quick to the other camera. And then we'll just finish this hex out, mark it, sign it, be done with this. Well, for tonight. I'll be glad to have these done. We're going to have 2 stations at the IBA for tool making that people can come by and make tools. So I needed to make sure we had the appropriate tools for both stations. Okay, so that. Not too bad. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. How well you can see it, but
John Brunel. Text the insertion button anymore.
I like where the forging starts and stops on each side. I like those to be relatively the same all around. That's all I'm really focusing on. So it kind of comes out to here, right? So I want to just try to make them all about the same. Okay. Straight. I'm good with that. Good with that. Hey, a little practice goes a long ways. It's getting better. Smoosh the like button. Oh, well, yeah. I always forget about that. You know, the funny thing, somebody, I don't know, asked me one stream about something, and I was like, dude, I get it, I guess, but I do not do this as like, I do it because I like to go back and watch it because it informs me on things that I could do better. That's what I like. That's why I like doing it for the most part. So I'll just do it this way. Rick?
Zach Rapatnine. I would love to use whatever tools you will have there instead of loading mine up. LOL.
But, I'm not going to be quitting my day job. One, to become a blacksmith, or 2, become a streamer. Zach's wife, on the other hand, she probably could give me some pointers. She does like some kind of gaming streaming thing or something. I've tried to watch that stuff, and on Twitch. The Twitch world is so foreign to me. Like things go on, people say things. I'm like, what in the hell? I don't know what they're talking about.
J Forge Ambition. What do all think about Majestic Forges?
So I would say Majestic Forges, stay away. I've seen it 3 times now where people have gone online and bought one of their forges and then got ghosted. I don't know what's going on there. I'm hoping it's something as simple as somebody has fallen ill and they're on the mend, I hope, and they haven't passed away or something. But I mean, I've not heard anything beyond that. But I've seen Uncle Buck's Forge recently just posted, I think today or yesterday, that he bought one, has messaged them, had emailed them, nothing. He gets nothing back. You know, so from just that plain aspect, I would avoid it at all costs. I would typically recommend an Apollo, but they're not cheap. And honestly, unless you're doing big runs of stuff, they're not fuel efficient at all. Now, if you're forging out 10 tong blanks or 10 tongs at once, or you got 3 or 4 hammer billets rolling at once, then it makes sense. But you know, you got one little piece in there, not so much. Now, I love my Apollo. That's what I have. But I only use it when I'm doing a lot of things at once or bigger things that we're ultimately going to need to use tongs with anyways. I'll use it for that. But if it's anything that, you know, I'm not, like if it's something I can hold, I usually try I try to stick with coal. Gas forges tend to, the heat creep on them is just a little too extreme for my tastes. I'm just going to get this a little hotter on the end, let it cool off. But yeah, 2-burner forge. I think the Forge Master forges are really good. Jamie Geyer in Goshen, Ohio, he's got one, and the school had a couple. They're great. They work really well. Replaceable parts. So it's a great production forge. If you can source, and I think Larry Zeller is done, but if you can source the burners that Larry used to produce and sell, those are nice. I'd like to get a pair of those myself. I had an opportunity and I squandered it. So I'm like, I don't know, man. But I don't use gas, so I'm probably not a good, I use gas, but not very often. But yeah, the Majestic ones, I've seen 3 separate posts from 3 separate people, one of whom I trust, where they've all been ghosted. So just buyer beware. That's all I could say to that. I don't know what's going on there, but I hope things are well enough. But I hope it's something is just as simple as, you know, somebody is on the mend. Battery is almost dead. So, but it's still trucking. Slowly but surely. But the Apollo is a good forge for sure. But again, it's really meant for bigger stuff. It's not really a good forge for smaller items. A single burner forge, if you're not doing really big things, is really the way to go, in my opinion. Much more forge, fuel efficient. You can build them relatively easily. Just keep your volume relatively small in comparison to what you're working on. You know Brian House, right? Yes, I do. So Brian is a good dude, but yeah, if you're not familiar, Housemaid is who produced the Apollo, and I think it's gone through a few revisions since I built mine. So I might look into when I have to rebuild this one. I might look into updating. We'll see. But yeah, I love that forge. It's quiet. And like I said, if you're doing a big run, it's very fuel efficient. But again, smaller items, it's just too much. There's too much volume in that thing. For small stuff. I've heard that the Atlas is nice, but I have no experience with it. I've met that dude a few times. He's a good dude. A little too fanatic about knife making for my tastes, but I get it. He is telling me, you guys need to have more knife makers at your things. I was like, why? It's a blacksmithing event. Knife makers got blade show. But we have had knife makers. I have nothing against, blade smithing per se. I have no interest in it. Every time I look at a file, I think, or hand sanding something, and the meticulous amount of grinding, and no, thank you, not that interested. Forge to finish as best you can, but I mean, when you get to certain knife styles, I think all that grinding is inescapable to a degree. And it's just, I just totally check out at that point. And there's I know some guys that make, a buddy of mine is in we're not like close buddies, but we've smoked cigars together with each other and hung out. But Will Stelter makes some beautiful knives. That's his passion. He loves that. Whereas, forging, like right now for me, like hammers and stuff, it's one of the things I really enjoy doing. But yeah, I'm happy with these. They look the part. Now, I haven't hardened the smaller ones yet. That'll be tomorrow. I'll finish grinding them tomorrow. So I'm going to grab one of these 3/8. I'm going to grab this one right here. No, not because I can't get to it for some reason. Hey, damn it, come here. I'm going to grab one of these. Jesus, if I can get it to behave. Actually, I'm going to grab this other one because I know it's been heat treated. So I can't remember if I did the other one or not now. I don't think I did. I think I cut it. This one has been heat treated. As you can see, it's well tempered. Did not break. But I guess we could always find out. No? 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 Still there. It's good to go. But I'm going to cool it off because that other piece was sitting on top of it. I'm going to grab it and burn my beautiful little skinny fingers. Got a whole lot of meat left there. I got to protect what I got. All right. I would normally, for use, I would grind this truck end, but for what I'm going to be doing now, I just want to check the hole. And so I'm not going to grind this truck end, but it'll work. It'll work. It'll do the thing. It'll punch a hole, I hope. That's why we're testing it. But let me find, let's see. Let me find a smoke, and then I'll find a piece of material to get hot and punch. Actually, I know what I'll do. Let's grab a tong blank. This one right here. And are these about the same size? No, they're close enough. Close enough. So I got these little tong blanks. Put this down. I don't need a flatter at my anvil for the power hammer. All right. So I'm just gonna real quick, quote unquote, real quick, I'm gonna just step through a quick pair of tongs, one side. I'll work on the other side later. They'll be flat bit tongs. I'm going to get the whole piece hot that I intend to use for the jaws. Even though I won't actually use the part I'm getting hot now for the quote-unquote jaws, but it's putting reserve heat into the bar for me. So it'll help the piece stay hotter longer. I didn't even have it all cranked up. I didn't have the whole thing cranked up. There we go. Here we go. Oh, about that much. Not right there though. Oh, there you go. Get right over there. All right. So the thing I don't like about making tongs with 5/8 is your window for arrow is very narrow. I much rather use 3/4 inch because I need all the arrow window I can get. These got a little thin when I forged them out onto the power hammer. They'll still be fine, but I'm gonna have to fix that. I'm gonna have to fix that. But then, right in here. I'm kind of rushing through these because I just want to be able to check my punch.
forging. And well mounted, obviously.
So that thing rings like a bell. It's all the way it's mounted. It's machined nice and flat on the base. They do that, not me. And then it has got a tapered nut on the back end and a flat plate in the front. I'm sure you guys can kind of see it maybe, I don't know, yeah. And then the back end, it's got that plate. And the front has actually got the tapered nut. You probably can't see it. But the idea behind the tapered nut is it pushes the anvil back and against and into the other piece, creating a nice solid lockdown. It needs to be tightened, but I haven't tightened it in a long time. But yeah, it's not anchored either to the concrete, but the stand is beefy for the size of anvil. And I filled the legs with sand and oil, so it's really quiet. But yeah, if it wasn't, it would ring like a bell. So I want anybody that uses a stump, tell me, is your stump buried 3 feet into the ground? And I'm not saying you're one of these people, by the way, but I see a lot of guys harp on rebound and doing all this and the rebound, the rebound. Well, here's my problem with that. 90% of those dudes have their fucking highly rebounding anvil sitting on a goddamn stump just dancing around on their concrete floor. It's a fucking sponge. It's a sponge. You put your anvil on a giant sponge. Why? And then you're gonna harp on rebound. Get the fuck out of here with that. It's a sponge.
Mine needs to be mobile. So
I don't like the stumps. I don't have a problem with them so much. It's the guys that go on about rebound. And I'm like, dude, you got your anvil sitting on a goddamn sponge. Are you serious right now? All right, I am going to cheat this real quick. Now, if those dudes were putting their anvils on well-made steel stands, I could get behind their argument a little bit. I mean, I still don't buy it, but at least I could get behind the argument. Take it easy, man. Okay, I'm not going to go crazy trying to make these perfect or anything right now. I really only want to test my punch. But this needs to come down, otherwise, as I'm going across here, that's going to create a problem. So I'm just going to true it up on my power hammer real quick, a couple of quick hits, bringing it in plane where I want it to be. All right, I can live with that. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, a bad hit. All right, well, whatever. That ain't cool. I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I wonder if I can nudge that less shitty. I'm already looking at the boss on this, and I'm thinking the 5/16 is going to be the better choice, but I'm going to do the 3/8 anyways. All right, so I can mark it at this heat. I'll do it this way so you don't have to stare at my ass. All right, there we go. That's about center. Center-ish. Yeah, 3/8 is going to be a bit much. I kind of had a sneaking suspicion. But we'll see it when we get it done. Minus that bad hit on the power hammer. What happens when you get in a hurry, you make a giant mistakes. A little more heat in that. Take it easy, man. And a little more heat. Not a lot. Probably good. That held up. Hey, okay. I got a longer, yeah. Off a little bit, a little bit of rag in there. Not much, I mean, but it's going to get drifted anyways, so I'm not that worried about it, which I'm going to do right here. I'll drift it open to 3/8. Because that's what I got here, but it's not ideal. I should have my dial a hole, but this is what I'm using.
J.I.J. Forge and Fishing. Later, John.
Got a 3/8 rivet down here. Yep. Way down there. Yeah. For this, it's going to be way too big. I had a sneaking suspicion it would be. The options for that, I suspect, would be slot punching versus this.
J.I.J. Forge and Fishing.
So you slot punch it, and then push. Then it will push these out. But I think what we're going to do is just go with 5/16 or 1/4 inch on these, which means that the ones I made, they need to come down a bit. If we go with 1/4, I don't like 1/4 inch rivets for tongs, but it is what it is. We'll put this down. I'll finish those another time, but so that it won't go to waste or anything. But you know, I'm going to stop this now. The moving camera thing. The battery's almost dead on that. Still here, Bill Corey. It even says Bill Corey. Wow. Did you miss the heat treat? No, I did not heat treat those. I saw a video of a guy using a 250-pound Little Giant to forge out a railroad spike steak flipper.
J.I.J. Forge and Fishing.
But yeah.
Do you have a recommendation for a 2-burner Venturi gas forge?
I think the Forge Master forges are nice. I think they make a 2 and 3. And I believe it's called the Blacksmith Edition or something like that. The Blacksmith Forge. Don't get the Farrier's Forge, but get the Blacksmith one. And I think Centaur Forge used to sell those. I don't know if they still do. They're not cheap. Am I still on this Centaur Forge page? Let's see. Forges, guest forges. Forge Master Forges. Yeah, it is you can get a double burner forge, blacksmith forge. They're not cheap. So if you were looking for a budget option, that is not it. But they are workhorses. They are workhorses for sure. Now, as far as like a cheaper one, to be honest, on eBay a long time ago, 6 years ago or so, I bought I think it's called the Hell's Forge or the Devil's Forge. It's a 2-burner oval Venturi style burner forge that I used probably for 2 years. I mean, and it was like at the time $250 or something. Every bit a fine forge. I would say most of the problems that I had with it were my fault. But I mean, for what it was fine. Honestly though, if you get yourself, it always goes back to what kind of work are you doing with it, right? What are you trying to do with it? But honestly, you could build a very fuel efficient forge relatively cheaply. All you need to do is get some Hell's Forge, Hell, so Hell's Forge, or I think the Devil's Forge. Now the Forge Master is the blacksmith version. It's called the Forge Master Blacksmith Double Burner. That's $1,000. There's another one, yeah, and then there's a 2-burner with the valve control, which is probably ultimately the better option. But yeah, it's $975, $1,000 still, essentially. But yeah, if you're looking for the cheap option, Hell's Forge or the Devil's Forge, I believe. Now, mind you, that was 6 years ago when I got it. Stay away from that VVOR piece of junk. If you're doing bladesmithing in general, blacksmithing, Atlas makes a nice little forge. What's that thing called? The Firestorm. The single burner, but you can get the double burner version. 451, and it looks pretty nice. Those are nice ones too. But yeah, if you're looking to stay into a really small budget, you always got to remind yourself you're going to get what you're going to pay for, right? That's just the way it is. That's just what you can expect. The Mr. Volcano, which is no longer available, but for a single burner, I think they made a double burner, but the single burner was a great little forge for the money. What do I know about what? The Forge Master? Or are we talking about the Atlas? Or are we talking about the Hell's Forge or the Devil's Forge? You gotta remember that I think there's a bit of a delay from what I'm saying, which you're hearing. So sometimes I might be ahead of you in the conversation and not realizing it.
JIJ Forge
I don't know anything about it other than the company and the owner. It's a stand-up company, American company.
Forge and Fishing. The Atlas.
He's I believe he's a veteran too, but I don't know that should matter. But you know, he stands behind his products, and you know, there's hell, did I drink that Gatorade already? But there's a lot that goes into these forges. People don't seem to realize. But I don't know anything about that particular forge other than just looking at it. It looks like a solid piece of equipment. It doesn't look like a piece of junk. It looks like it was thought out and put together. Well, I couldn't tell from the picture, but it looked like a stainless steel body, which is going to hold up to the heat and the abuse better. But like I was saying, if the budget is your biggest holdback,
Forge and Fishing. What do you know?
making one, it would be your best option. And you can make them relatively cheaply. Or source burners. HighTempTools.com, I believe, is the website. Don't quote me on that. Let me check it real quick. Or you can check it. But I'm going to put in here, High Temp Tools. Tools, dodo, not told.
JIJ Forge and Fishing. Okay.
HighTempTools.com. Go there. You can get everything you need, including a forge itself, if you wanted to buy one.
Forge and Fishing. Do you know of a kit?
But you can get everything from HighTempTools.com that you need to build your own forge. All you need is 2-inch KO wool or ends wool ceramic blanket. Get the 2-inch stuff, and then a steel body. You know, round is fine, and then you drill whatever whatever burners that you make or buy. You drill holes big enough, excuse me, to accept those burners. Now you might put a flange on it, you know, weld a little thing on there. It doesn't even have to be super hardcore welding, you know, just a couple of tack welds around it to hold it.
JIJ Forge and Fishing.
Or take it somewhere and have it welded.
Use brick.
You could use brick as well, but it's easier
JIJ Forge and
not
Fishing.
to.
Brick.
Or my buddy John Perilou makes he fabricates his own little forges out of fire brick, and that's all it is really just a fire brick forge, and he's got a single burner through the top, and those things get hot, and it's just soft fire brick, you know, big enough to make the opening of what he needs.
Forge and Fishing. I really don't like cancer fluff.
Wait, you don't like cancer? What? Hang on, let me pull up the damn chat so I can keep, well, I don't have to walk over there all the time. Log me in. This dumb thing. Of course it's not going to show me the chat. I have to go to my phone to look at it, and it does not bring it up. So I have to go over here to see what you said. I don't really like cancer fluff. So,
Bravo wall.
yeah, you wear a respirator when you're working with it, and then you put rigidizer around it, which seals it. Once you've got your rigidizer on there and it cures, then you put a castable refractory green patch 420, I think is what it's called. You can get that. It's pre-mixed. Open it up, and then you just slather it on the inside and cover up the KO wool and seal it up, and then you're golden. But wear a respirator until you get the rigidizer on it. But yeah, if that still sketches you out, I get it. I'm old, so I've got a limited lifespan. I don't care anymore. I was grinding a fire brick the other day and thought to myself, I probably should be wearing a respirator for this. But I got what, maybe 30 years left. So, it's just kind of, I make dumb decisions like that all the time.
J.I.J. Forge and Fishing. City Night.
So, yeah, I would say, what? They're the chat thing on the phone is so irritating. But I would say, yeah, you could easily make it a fire brick. Satanite is technically not really a refractory in the greater sense of it. It's more of an IR reflective material. So you would use that over. So first you would put your ceramic wool down. You'd put a rigidizer on there, which is just colloidal silica. But I think I'm saying that right. But you put your rigidizer on, then you would put the refractory over that. Then once your refractory is cured and you fired it, then you would put your Satanite on, a really thin coat of that. I think there's another product called, I think it's like ITX 100 or something like that. This is very similar. It's supposed to give you like a 10 to 20% increase in heat reflection within the chamber, I guess. I don't know. I'm not that well versed. I was looking into it at one point. But yeah, the Apollo, at the end of the day, is really just, there is ceramic wool blanket in it. It's actually ceramic board is really what it's considered. But there's one tiny layer of that 1/4 inch, and then there's fire break in it. Soft fire break in there. And then it's all sealed up with, it's just encapsulated in a steel body. That's it. But yeah, you could easily do that. Look at the Apollo, look at it, and you can make a smaller version of that with Venturi style. There would be no reason you couldn't do that. It'd be relatively simple. If you got the ability to drill 1/8 inch plate, and then put some all thread that, together and then hold everything together, yeah, it'll work. Yeah, the Apollo is a ribbon burner, but it doesn't have to be a ribbon burner. I mean, I could pull, if I hadn't put a ribbon burner on there, I could have just bought a couple of Venturi burners and mounted those in there and used that. But I wanted a ribbon burner. I can't stand the sound of Venturi burner just all fucking day. Man, you're working out here all day long, man, that noise just gets irritating. I don't want to have to wear hearing protection. I'm already deaf, but it's really quiet. It's really quiet. Let me see if I have anything up here I need to get off of here. Yeah, my calipers. And I'll fire it up real quick. So, there is no other ambient noise in here right now.
J.I.J. Forge and Fishing. I'm just scared of forced air.
Why would you be scared of forced air? I don't understand the concern there. Other than you got to have electricity.
J.I.J. Forge and Fishing. I've heard too many bad stories.
Really? I've never heard a bad story. I'm not doubting you by any stretch. I just have never heard it, so. I mean, if you...
J.I.J. Forge and Fishing. The chat's slow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the chat is slow. I would say the only thing with forced air, and all you got to do is buy a solenoid for it. So all the cylinders is a pressure valve, basically. It's a shutoff. So if your blower isn't running, it kills the gas. So my guess is most of the people that have had horror stories with a forced air burner, be it ribbon burner or whatever, my guess is they did not have that installed. And ultimately, what that meant is that was their own goddamn fault. Because everywhere will tell you you should have that. It's a $20 part.
Pipes get flooded with propane because of the blower.
Yeah, it's a $20 part. That's really it. And that's all you need. It's a simple thing.
JIJ4
Pipes getting flooded
probably.
with propane because of the blower. Pipes getting flooded because the blower should be pushing the propane out of the pipes. So again, that is one, if you have that.
JIJ4 gen fission. Noted.
Yeah, so if you have that valve installed properly, that would never be a problem. Otherwise, if the blower is connected to the pipes, the plumbing correctly, it's pushing the propane out to the burner. The tricky thing is
Fission. That's what I meant.
getting your mix correct. That's easy. That's easy. It's not a big deal.
Gen fission. I mistyped. My bad.
So again, that just boils down to a valve. I forget the exact name of it. Like, I think it's like an air pressure valve or something like that. So what it's got a little, it's like 2 wires or something that runs from that. You put it inside the blower piping, right outside the blower. So as it enters into the plumbing, your blower comes in, connects in, and then it sits outside of that. And what happens is when it detects that there's no air coming through there, it shuts down the gas line. It closes it. So it's an I believe it's referred to like a normally closed system. So unless it detects that air movement coming through there, and you can adjust that, there's a sensor or a sensitivity doodad on it, and then you can adjust that. Let me go see, because I've got one over here, and I can tell you exactly what it's called, provided it's still over here, and I haven't moved it like a dum-dum, which I probably have. We'll see. We will see. Is this it? Hey, 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 hey. This might be it. Yeah, I think this is it. It is, what is it called? Oh, I'm the wrong way. I'm not even paying attention. Going the wrong way, y'all. It just says pressure. But, so I have one for another forge that I've been working on that I just haven't gotten around to put it together. This is all it is. See, it's got like a little bit of some kind of.
Nice. That makes sense.
It's got a little.
Here, I'm definitely adding that.
I like $20. It's got these little things here. You can adjust it, so you can adjust for when it does its doodad. You know, it does its thing, and then there's some wiring that goes into it if you wanted to. This one, if I recall, this one doesn't have the wiring. Because it's not really needed. So yeah, you basically hook up a for a lack of a better word, a blow pipe to one end, and then this is your gas line, right? So your gas line would come in. See, this is coming from your hose or your propane tank, whatever. Your gas line comes into this, and this would connect into your main, oh, you can't see it, but I might be able to scooch some crap out of the way here. But this goes into your main air pipe that feeds the blower itself. So what happens is there's when it doesn't detect the air movement coming off of this, it shuts it down. So technically it's an always closed system. When it detects air coming through, it opens the system and allows gas through. Can you see? I'm not going to be able to get it to where you can see it. I'm just dragging the damn camera around. But again, it's like a $25 part or something, 20 bucks. I forget what I paid for this one. Comes with some awesome Chinese instructions. I think they're instructions. But if you go to the Housemade website, I think it's a housemade.us. But if you go there, he's got videos on setting up the Apollo. While you don't have to build an Apollo, you could do any kind of forced air burner. But the setup of this part would be the same, essentially. And he walks through all of that. But again, anybody that, if you've read stories about people having issues like that, those were brought on by themselves. Those people did that to themselves. They skipped a vital component, where that would come into play. I will say there's a lot of hype out there about forced air burners being more efficient. They are not from what I have seen. They are not. I would say they're about the same. The difference is, right, like I can't judge what the Apollo was in comparison to my old gas forge, right? It's a much bigger forge. It's got a lot more volume inside of it than the other one had, so it's whatever. Now, I would say if it was smaller, less volume, it wouldn't take as much to get it hot and stay hot. So I don't know. It's give and take. I think it's much more quiet. I was going to show you that. So here's how you light a ribbon burner. First thing you need to do is turn your blower on. Let me grab my torch. Have your torch lit before you go over there. So I'm going to turn it on, turn my gas on. I'll come around to the other side. Do not have it closed up when you start your forge. I keep my torch here, and then I'll open the gas valve. Lit. I don't even have my quote-unquote door in front of it right now. Let me do that. My door is just a piece of fire brick, essentially. This is my door. There we go. So, I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say it's quiet. It's definitely quieter than a Venturi burner. It's a more gentle sound. And once it comes up to temp, I will usually, unless I really need it ripping hot, I'll turn it down. And I've got a little sensor for my propane bottle, thanks to Bill Corey, and it tells me how much propane I have left, which I think at this point is probably under 50%. Turn off. Hang on. Four days ago, I was at 45%. No, that's still 45%. So, yeah, it's doing fine. Yes, in fact, I'm going to shut it off now. So I'll just go through the shutdown procedure is in reverse. I shut down, not completely in reverse. I close off the propane tank itself, let it run, because that purges the line of any gas. Some could say that's wasteful, whatever. Then I shut the gas valve off at the blower. And then I kill the blower. But yes, when I was doing those tong blanks, I'd cut up, when did I do? So I got 20 pieces of that 5/8 inch round, had 20 pieces in that forge all at once. And obviously I couldn't get to all that fast. When I started getting towards the bottom of it, they were stuck together. They were essentially forge welding themselves together in the forge. I was able to pull it apart, but it was pretty hilarious. I will say the Apollo is not cheap, but you can DIY something fairly cheap based off of that design. You could build it yourself and source all the parts yourself. I did not do that. I bought all the stuff that he recommended. I got all the things. I did all the things. It was inexpensive, but I looked at it as an investment, and that's how I use it. It's a production tool.
Forge and fission. Impressive.
Now, if you build a forge and you want to forge weld in it,
J.I.J. Forge and fission.
make sure you can replace the floor, because flux will eat the shit out of your floor. It will eat the shit out of the fire bricks and everything. It will rip it apart eventually. It does not take long. So just keep the floor something that you can quickly and easily replace, and then you won't have any problems. But yeah, it's, again, the part you need. I was thinking the thing that you got to wire in, you don't have to do this, by the way. You can install a PID controller and a thermocouple on these types of forges. So when your forge comes up to a certain temperature, it kills the blower and the gas.
Forge and fission.
And then when it drops to a certain temp, it'll fire everything back up for you, and it'll start to cycle that, and it will find like an equilibrium where it's just bouncing back and forth and holding the temperature pretty close, within a few hundred degrees of what you tell it to, which can be fuel efficient, because it's not, you're not burning fuel you don't need to burn. But that starts getting super nerdy when you get into that. Propane's, I don't know where you're at, but around here, propane's not that expensive. I think I paid, and I probably took the least cost-effective route in filling my 100-pound tanks the last time I filled them up. And I think I paid less. So I took 2 propane tanks and an oxyacetylene set, big set, not like one of the small ones. And I spent $360, and I think the propane tanks themselves were around 100 and something and change. to refill. And again, that was the least cost-effective way for me to do that, but it was also the most convenient at the time. But I can take this to the people that supply our propane for the house, but I can take it up there and get it much cheaper. I think it's like less than $2 a gallon. So I can get it relatively.
Forge and Fishing. Thanks for the advice. I have to head out in a few minutes.
Hey, no problem, because I have to head out in a few minutes myself. So I am going to shut this down. I appreciate everybody that hung out. This is telling me there's 11 people watching this thing. Y'all crazy. I wish it would show me who the hell it was. But yeah, it's claiming some nonsense. That's the way I look at it. It's claiming some nonsense. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this. And I did what I wanted to do. I know it wasn't glamorous by any stretch, but I've been meaning to do these punches for a while. And I thought I should just knock them out tonight.
I think it's about $0.75 per pound.
Nice. So yeah, that's pretty cheap. I'd be using gas more, but I got an induction forge now, so I mean I use the shit out of that thing.
Good night, Rob.
Take it easy, Brian, and thank you for the advice the other day. Greatly appreciated.
JIJ Forge and Fishing. Thanks for doing these streams.
Yeah, I wish I could be a little bit more consistent with it. I'm going to try to be better about that. And I'm hoping to do a stream next week. And then we'll go from there. But I don't know what, I want to start coming up with actual projects. And I'm thinking I'm going to do something as exciting as a camp tripod thing. That's something that I can knock out in an evening, but not starting with square stock. I will forge it square because I got a power hammer. Why not? Plus, I don't have a lot of square stock right now. But I was thinking about it. I was like, man, we've got a spot where we, have camp, like a camp ring and everything. I was like, it'd be nice if we had a tripod up there, but I don't want to use the one I got. It's really meant for smaller fires. I want to make a much bigger one. And I'm going to order a new power supply, so hopefully we will have 3 cameras running again. It's funny, I stopped working and it's starting to get chilly. So on that note, I'm going to call it a night myself. I hope everybody has a good night, and I hope you have an even better tomorrow. And I will catch y'all later. Thanks for hanging out and watching me doing something as mundane as making a silly round punch. But I needed to do those, and I figured why not. And I know I kind of obsessed over some of the dumbest details in forging those, but I'm going to put my name on them. So I just wanted them to look as good as I could, I could, so they look fine. So what I'll probably do is finish grinding these and then go to bed. So I'll catch you guys on the next one.